Alright, what's up guys? So today we're going to be watching this video, AI telling about the US strike on Nigeria. So let's get into it and exactly see what happened. Let's see.
Exactly did the US military just strike inside Nigeria, and how did they pull it off from hundreds of miles away? First, let's talk about the location. The strikes hit Sokoto State right in the northwestern corner of Nigeria. This is a critical area because it borders the country of Niger. Security analysts have identified the specific targets as camps belonging to ISIS-affiliated militants. These are likely Islamic State, Sahel Province, or a locally affiliated group known as La Kerala. But why here? This region is seeing a dangerous shift. Extremist groups are moving down from the Sahel, specifically from Mali and Niger, into northwestern Nigeria. But the real surprise is how they did it. Unlike the drone strikes we often see in other regions, this operation relied on heavy naval firepower. The US Navy launched Tomahawk cruise missiles, long-range precision weapons. These missiles were fired from a US Navy warship positioned all the way down in the Gulf of Guinea, off the southern coast of West Africa. The operation was conducted by US Africa Command. Crucially, both the Pentagon and the Nigerian Foreign Ministry confirmed that these strikes were carried out with the approval and intelligence support of the Nigerian government. But how did the Nigeria war started? To understand this, we have to look at how this country is divided into Muslim and Christian. The northern part of Nigeria is predominantly Muslim, with approximately 50 to 55% of the population adhering mostly to Sunni Islam, while the southern and southeastern regions are majority Christian, comprising about 45% to 35% of the population. Boko Haram, an Islamist militant group, is primarily based in northeastern Nigeria, specifically in Borno, Yobe, and Adamawa states. This group adhered to ISIS strategy and will eliminate everyone, whether Muslims or Christian, that does not follow their rule of law. Sadly, most of the victims are their fellow Muslims brothers too. Let's look at their bases. Boko Haram's strongholds are mainly found in northeastern Nigeria and the surrounding Lake Chad region, which stretches across the borders of Nigeria, Niger, Chad, and Cameroon. Among the most significant strongholds is the Sambisa forest in Nigeria. This vast remote forest has historically served as Boko Haram's primary headquarters and training ground, providing a concealed base for planning attacks and sheltering fighters. Another critical area is the Lake Chad Islands. These swampy, difficult-to-access islands offer natural cover, making them ideal hideouts for militants. They function as logistics hubs and supply depots, allowing Boko Haram to move men and material across borders with relative ease. Further, the rugged terrain of the Goza Hills along the Nigeria-Cameroon border acts as a strategic fallback zone. Here, Boko Haram maintains camps and lookout posts, using the landscape to evade military operations. Finally, around the town of Bama in Borno State, Boko Haram has established logistical and command centers. This area plays an essential role in coordinating their operations and sustaining the insurgency in the region. But why is the Nigerian government unsuccessful in defeating Boko Haram? They face various problems, from lower budgets, manpower, to geography. The group operates in remote, difficult terrains like forests and swampy Lake Chad Islands, which are hard for the military to access. Nigeria's armed forces often struggle with outdated equipment, poor training, and logistical issues, limiting their effectiveness. Intelligence gathering is difficult because Boko Haram uses guerrilla tactics and small-scale attacks to avoid detection. Additionally, poverty, unemployment, and weak governance in the northeast allow Boko Haram to recruit easily, with some communities mistrusting government forces due to corruption and previous abuses. The group's cross-border operations require regional cooperation, which is often slow and complicated by sovereignty concerns. Human rights concerns and security force abuses have also eroded public trust, making it harder for the government to gain community support. Let's take a closer look at how the US would go about targeting Boko Haram. First, they'd establish naval and air dominance. A naval task force made up of aircraft carriers, destroyers, and amphibious ships would position itself in the Gulf of Guinea. From there, they provide air cover, launch precision strikes, and be ready to quickly deploy troops wherever they're needed. Next comes intelligence.
Well, they're not going to do all that. They don't need air superiority over a place that doesn't have any aircraft. They're not going to put troops on the ground because they're not invading Nigeria. They're just going to send missiles in, which they already did this like a few days ago, obviously. But same thing with Venezuela. They do need air dominance over them because they're going to war against the country, not just a group of people. So with this one, they're just going to launch a bunch of missiles and just blow them up. That's basically all they're gonna do. Kind of like what they did in, I forget. I guess Iran. I think didn't they launch a bunch of missiles at Iran? The U.S. did. No, no, it was Yemen. Yemen, yeah, they launched a bunch of missiles at Yemen to like destroy a bunch of spots. That's basically all they're
Gathering. Using satellites, drones like the MQ-9 Reaper, and signal interception, the U.S. would keep constant watch on Boko Haram's movements, strongholds, and communication, giving commanders real-time awareness of the battlefield. They'd also work closely with Nigeria and neighboring countries to coordinate security along borders, share intelligence, and...
I mean, America doesn't really have any forces on this side of Africa. They're mostly on the other side, like with Egypt and Djibouti and like Ethiopia. They have more troops over there. They don't really have troops down near Nigeria and Cameroon. They don't really have troops down there. So
conduct joint operations that make it harder for Boko Haram fighters to slip across borders. The weaponry? Cruise missiles like Tomahawks would launch from naval destroyers and submarines to take out key Boko Haram bases and supply depots. At the same time, stealth fighters like the F-35 would carry out airstrikes on command centers, minimizing collateral damage. Special forces would roll out in coordination with Nigerian and regional troops to conduct precision raids, capture or eliminate Boko Haram's leadership, and help train local forces to better fight the...
I don't think they did that. I don't think they launched any forces. Or, like, maybe Nigeria did, but, like, the U.S. didn't do that. And I don't think the U.S. military flew airplanes into Nigeria's territory. I don't think they did that.
Insurgency. Finally, disrupting Boko Haram's logistics, especially in challenging terrains like the Lake Chad Islands and Sambisa Forest, would be vital. Cutting off their supply lines and making movement difficult would severely weaken the group. Together, this multi-layered approach combines America's advanced military capabilities with regional partnerships to systematically break down Boko Haram's strength, reduce their recruitment, and help restore stability in the region. For the U.S. to completely dismantle Boko Haram, they would need Marines and boots on the ground. The strategy involves deploying a ship capable of carrying Marines, tanks, and armored vehicles close to the shore using these hovercraft. These hovercraft traverse water, beaches, and difficult terrain, delivering...
All right, now you're doing too much. Like, bro, we're not in... I mean, yeah, he's stating, like, how they would do it, but, like, this is about a U.S. strike against Nigeria, not invading Nigeria. He's talking about invading Nigeria to get to Boko Haram, and that's not what happened.
Troops where traditional landing craft or aircraft can't go. Marines then secure beachheads and push inland to clear urban areas and complex battlefields. Missions impossible without boots on the ground. The strength of amphibious forces lies in their seamless integration of ground troops, tanks, helicopters, and F-35 fighters, working together to suppress enemy resistance and maintain momentum. Hovercraft add tactical flexibility by bypassing coastal barriers and carrying heavy vehicles air transport can't handle, allowing forces to strike where the enemy least expects. Once ashore, amphibious forces conduct sustained operations backed by naval gunfire and air support, stabilizing captured areas and protecting civilians. Their operations follow a disciplined rhythm, planning, embarkation, rehearsal, movement, and swift action, transforming sea power into lasting ground control. While aircraft carriers dominate the skies, amphibious warships bridge the gap from sea to land, turning devastating airstrikes into actual control and enduring influence. Only with this combined capability can true victory and peace be achieved. With the brute force multiplier of these hovercraft, let's take a look at how they change the tide of the battlefield. U.S. Navy hovercraft, specifically the landing craft Air Cushion and its upgraded counterpart, the Ship-to-Shore Connector, revolutionize amphibious warfare with their speed and versatility. These hovercraft can travel at speeds over 40 knots, about 46 miles per hour, far quicker than traditional landing craft, drastically reducing transit time from warship to shore. Their unique air cushion design allows them to glide seamlessly over water, beaches, marshes, ice, and difficult terrain, places where conventional boats cannot operate. This ability opens access to roughly 70 to 80% of the world's shorelines, vastly expanding potential landing zones beyond the limited 17% reachable by older landing craft. Hovercraft can carry a 60 to 75-ton payload, enough for one M1 Abrams tank or multiple armored vehicles and several dozen troops, making them invaluable for rapid deployment of heavy forces ashore. Their capability to bypass natural obstacles like reefs, mines, and mudfloods ensures that forces land where enemy defenses are weakest or least expected, enhancing tactical surprise. Thanks to this speed and terrain flexibility, hovercraft enable amphibious forces to launch fast, over-the-horizon assaults, sometimes deploying from 20 to 50 miles or more offshore, significantly increasing ship survivability by operating beyond enemy missile ranges. Operations using hovercraft change the battlefield by allowing swift buildup and sustainment of combat power ashore, combined with naval gunfire and air support, maintaining momentum and overwhelming the...
Let's see, with U.S. Nigeria. Let's say bombing. Let's see, does Trump even say anything? Let's see.
Welcome back to Live Now from Fox. I'm Shauna Kalafi. A live look at the White House.
He just posted something. Let's see. Yeah, I think they just launched missiles. Yeah, honestly. Yeah, I think they just launched missiles. And Trump hasn't really said anything about it. So, yeah. What do you guys think? Do you think Trump should have launched missiles in Nigeria to protect the Christians and bomb the Boko Haram? Do you think you guys agree with that? Personally, I do. I like that Trump is trying to protect Christians in Nigeria, so I'm for it. But let me know what you guys think. I'll be posting this on Rumble and YouTube. So, yeah, catch you guys later.